What is going on, Vikings fans? It's your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000, Mr. I told you so, Chicago Bears. We're back at it, and we're going to hit it with another quick video today, another upload, another segment. This time going with a nice, clean preview to our game this upcoming Sunday, which I will be in attendance against the Atlanta Falcons. Woo, man! I don't know about you guys, but I am still flying high when it comes to Monday Night Football. You know, we got a short week. We're not gonna get that full week. We're gonna, although it's a Sunday night game, so it's not a totally short week like most. But yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be okay. We have home opener. The energy is gonna be electric. Oh, the purple gang's gonna be there. Skull Fest is the night before. Oh, it's gonna be a good one, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you guys come out to Skull Fest, don't be shy and please say hi. I can't wait to meet you all. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be coming live multiple times throughout the day, giving you some raw daily segments, giving you the best color commentary, as well as some outside of the box thinking and trying to keep you guys focused on the things that matter. Because out here in this mainstream media and the sea of predictions, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to kind of keep your bearing and make some good assumptions. So let's get into this breakdown. We have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Atlanta Falcons at US Bank Stadium. Again, I can't wait to be in attendance. Now, let's start with a little bit of a comparison based off the first week's performance. This week in week one, the Atlanta Falcons did put up 27 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a losing effort. You know, Michael Penix Jr. had a great week one performance. If there's a lot of good highlights and clips. That throw that he put that zip on to, I forget who it was right now. You know what I mean? No wonder he put up nearly 300 yards, a rushing touchdown. He did have one sack taken in 42 attempts. So that O-line seems to be pretty sturdy over there in Atlanta. So that's definitely going to be a factor to keep an eye out as for us Vikings fans. So don't hesitate. Don't be leaving during the defensive plays to go to the bathroom or to make yourselves some more another plate of those wings or that chips and dip. You know what I mean? Watch those defensive plays, see how our pass rush is doing, especially Dallas Turner. Let's see if he shows out at home. When it comes to the running game, man, did they have a hard time last week running against those Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, in my opinion, is a really solid team. They have a lot of returning pieces and a lot of consistency and continuity on that roster. So it's not a surprise to see their defense do something that they did very well. They continue to do very well. So Tyler Algier pumped out a measly 10 carries on a 2.4 yard per carry attempt per attempt. And then Bijan Robinson had 12 carries on a on a flat 2 yards per carry. But it isn't lost that Bijan Robinson was still a factor in their offense because despite getting shut down in the running game, he still put up 100 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. So they have a very capable dual threat back and in a very, very good dynamic backfield, just like we do. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching whose team can get out ahead first and kind of neutralize that running attack, right? Because when you're behind, it's going to be a lot less runs that we're going to be seeing, right? So hopefully that's the Minnesota Vikings, and we're the ones doing all the running, and they're the ones throwing from behind. When it comes to the receivers, last week the Falcons are pretty decent. They spread the ball around. Right, we got 33 yards from Casey Washington, Ray McLeod. Ray McLeod caught 51 yards. Drake London had 15 targets. So they're definitely trying to feed Drake London, get him to be an integral part. Use him as a dynamic weapon that they see him being. Off those 15 targets, though, he got 8 catches for 55 yards. So, there is some areas in that passing attack that might be vulnerable, but we got to be careful because it doesn't look like Michael Penix is the type of guy to kind of stare one guy down. He will distribute the ball, and we can't be pigeonholed into thinking that we had a bracket or double team or triple team. We just got to play it as honest as possible. That way, he has to go through his entire progression and more times than not check it down, right? Because that'd be the ideal situation coming from our secondary and what we can do this weekend. Kyle Pitts put up a 59 yards. So their offense, when it came to the air, was pretty balanced throughout the team. But now let's take a look at the defense, right? Now defensively they did some really good things, right? They held Bucky Irving to 2.6 yards per carry himself. So their run defense was banging on all cylinders this weekend, and it's something they've been good at as well. So some of their continuity is transferring over from last year. So it's not really surprising. So something for us to be kind of aware of, but not really concerned because it is just the Falcons after all. They allowed 23 points and 3 passing touchdowns to Baker Mayfield, which screams that there is some vulnerabilities in the secondary for these Falcons that I hope we're able to take advantage of. Now, let's hope that JJ McCarthy doesn't have such a notorious slow start this time and he has a little bit of a quicker start. But even though they gave up 3 touchdowns, they ended up having only allowing 167 passing yards to Baker Mayfield. So it was a lot more the field, the position, the things that were done. So the defense did a half decent job. So let's not be fooled at the same time. They also got Baker one time on 32 attempts. So an abysmal pass rush that I don't think has any Vikings fans truly worried. Now, we don't, as Vikings fans on this channel, we know what we did, but let's quickly review what we did on Monday night. It's no secret JJ McCarthy looked lost at times, over his head, but at the silver lining is that despite it looking rough and bad at times, at least we didn't see some of the most egregious rookie mistakes that we've seen. For example, panicking off the pass rush, rolling out and throwing up a prayer up the middle, consistently being late on passes. We didn't see Things like a lot of procedural stuff, like where he was going to on a play action pass, right? Uh, Handing it off to the right when the back lined up to the left. So we didn't see some of the embarrassing stuff, although he did struggle quite a bit. In my opinion, that first half feels more like all the reps that he needed to have in the preseason in order to get up to par for this starting this game. But you know what? In KOC I trust. I've been saying this, and I've been saying that since last year. The same with Nkwesi I trust. I've gotten to the point. Same with Brian Flores. I've gotten to the point where the evolution from where we started to where we are now has given me all the confidence in the world to be able to say that. That's why um, I'm not worried about anything when it comes to um, this team and this offense. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But anyways, we were recapping the good things that JJ McCarthy did. So yeah, he did a lot of good things, and KOC and the coaching staff really had him ready, and that's why he was able to pop off in the second half, and we saw him do what he was able to do. A history setting night for Mr. JJ McCarthy. What a fantastic start to the young man's career. As a Vikings fan, let me tell you, if this is the floor, man, there's a whole lot of upside to JJ McCarthy. So let's hope that this week he doesn't start so slow like he did this last week. But although I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of that early start, that slow start, was more to do with the game plan and the plays that were already drawn up for JJ in the first half. I feel like it was more of like, we need to get all the reps that we need to in order to getting up to snuff. And the true game plan was unleashed in the second half. And thank goodness it started banging when it did. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I was with a lot of you guys where I thought Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones were gonna be the big factors in this game, and we're just gonna continue to lean on the running game all game, making it so that Caleb Williams didn't spend a lot of time on the field. And it didn't turn out that way. But the one thing that mattered the most was that they had a whole bunch of new going on in Chicago. And I said that there was going to be, there was no way that an entire offseason was going to get this team ready and performing at a level that at a level like our Minnesota Vikings have developed over the last 3 years. That's why we were more consistent. We had way less penalties. We didn't stall our only drives that counted. We didn't throw away momentum after you know what I mean? Like, they could have easily come up with multiple touchdowns in that first half. So the team did very well. The defense again was lights out. They put up, they only let Caleb put up 210 yards on 6 yards per attempt. They only gave up 17 points, which only 7 of them were as a result of the defense. We know that pick six kind of give up those sevens there, but the pressure was there. Caleb Williams was running for his life the entire time. Uh, Javon Hargrave had 2 sacks in the game, and there were so many pressures coming from so many players from our pass rush. It was glorious to see. I guarantee you that Jonathan Allen wants to get that rep back where it seemed like he had Caleb Williams, but somehow got away. Like, man, what a magician that kid, eh? He can surely get away and scramble like no other, right? But regardless of the fact we were more prepared and were able to come across with a solid defensive outing, we only gave up 58 yards rushing, 9.7 yards per carry, and one TD to Williams, right? So we did pretty good on the rushing front. So if they're struggling on the running front, that's probably an advantage for us there. When it came to our run defense, we were able to keep DeAndre Swift, their main ball carrier, to a 3-point yard yards per carry. When it came to receiving defense, Roma Dunze was held to 37 yards. DJ Moore was only held at 68 yards. On offense, you know, we sputtered. And like I said, those reps were more. I honestly think KOC was playing some 4D chess there. And I think that those reps were going to happen and those plays were going to be called regardless of what the score was. And as what he felt he needed JJ to go through in that first game. So I am not going to doubt the quarterback whisperer. He called a phenomenal game. And at the very end, he had some great clock management and we ended up stealing one. And again, MVP Chicago Bears because they gave up 127 penalty yards on 12 flags. And that was the biggest difference maker that kept us in the game long enough for JJ to go off for a historic night. So when we compare both teams, they had some ups and downs, right? The Falcons lost and the Vikings, we won. But not without some growing pains on each side. Now, there is some historical context to this game, right? So last year we were able to mollywop the Atlanta and we won 41-21 last year at home. Vikings have also won 6 of the last 7 meetings. So we have history on our side. So that's for those Vikings fans out there that need to hear some of that history to be on their side for them to believe, you know what I mean? So we got history on our side, but there is a but when it comes to history. The Vikings do have a little bit of a soft spot when it comes to these Falcons because in 1998, infamously, Gary Anderson missed that field goal, which then allowed the Falcons to tie the game. And then for their Morton Anderson to win on a 38-yard field goal, which eventually led them to their first Super Bowl appearance or Super Bowl. I forget. Either way, that sucks. And it's been a long time, and I feel like we've put a mollywop into these guys. I remember the Matty Rice days where I knew I wasn't scared of Matt Ryan. I was like, man, Matt Ryan is like one of those freaking, Honda Civics with a freaking one of those loud mufflers on it, all freaking sound and no gas. Seriously, when it counted, and I was saying this stuff before the freaking collapse, the 27-4 collapse or a 3 collapse that we saw from the Falcons and Matt Wright or Matt Ryan, Matty Rice in the Super. I was saying that he was nowhere near cold as ice and that he was actually an imposter. And that game solidified all my thoughts when it came. So although we have messed them up this game, we still got to take it to them after that stupid game in 1998. So hopefully today or this week will be another spectacular win on our end. I hope it's going to be a game where we just put it away and out of reach early. I'm going to be in the building, so I'm going to be drunk off the atmosphere because I don't drink or anything like that. So it's going to be, I just want to be amongst us content creators that are going and amongst the fans, and just I love it every single time I go. So stay tuned for the vlogs and the posts that I'll be live streaming and uploading as I wake up for that 5 a.m. Drive to Detroit and all that fun stuff and golfing with Lefty and everything. But let's talk about the things that actually matter, because there's a lot of comparisons, a lot of things people might draw too much from these stats and these things that we saw from week 1. And I think we fall into a similar situation that we did last week. I don't think we have to fall too much into the minor details of where we might have advantages or disadvantages. Overall, I think we can take a step back and kind of count and do this football math with the macro pieces, right? So I think The keys to success, I think, our number one key factor is going to be our home field advantage. US Bank Stadium is going to be off the chains. Every game, every home game that I've been to has been ridiculously loud. The energy has been crazy, and I expect no less this week. And historically, last year, there was a lot of talks about our home field advantage being one of the most deadly home field advantages in all of football last year, and rightfully so. Do you remember when young Mr. CJ Stroud and the Texans came in with their chest held high, thinking their sophomore year was going to go off without a hitch, and they were on their way to a deep playoff run? Let's not forget who was the team that humbled them in week 3, if I'm not mistaken. They were coming off some rock. I think they were 1-1, right? If I'm not mistaken. And they came into US Bank Stadium thinking they were hot stuff with a hot team, with a young roster, a young, wild quarterback. Ooh, those Strouds were at peak Stroud power at the time. The Strouds, you didn't want to talk to that fan base because their heads were so big, they would just bury you in comment after comment after comment. But after that game, and for the rest of that season, we haven't heard too much, and it's just been bickering amongst themselves. Right, Juan? We got to love our guy that's on the NFC, what are they, AFC South roundtable or whatever the division they are. Old Ruben. Oh, no, not Ruben. It's not Juan. It's Ruben. Ruben with the all the bravado going into last year's game and completely disregarding our home field advantage. And there were procedural mistake after mistake and flags that were thrown. They were discombobulated last year. Not to mention that Brian Flores freaking went after it, CJ Stroud. Woo! It was a sight to see. And let me remind you, non-Vikings fans that might be in the chat or might be watching right now. Man, it was something beautiful to see, because where I expected the Strouds and CJ Stroud to start kind of figuring things out and kind of making a mediocre comeback, just to kind of show that they had they had more time, they might have made a game of it. But right at that moment, D'Amico Ryans, right? That's their head coach. He went ahead and pulled their starters, and they waved the white flag. And that's what home field advantage does. It creates a snowball effect against these young up and coming teams that don't have the consistency and continuity that a lot of these playoff teams like the Minnesota Vikings, like the Chiefs, like whatever top team that you want to throw up there. It's what they don't have. These teams, it's what the Detroit Lions had last year up until they lost Ben Johnson. Remember, they had how many years in a row together? They were basically, they could literally do everything in their sleep, right? And they don't have that. They're technically in their first year with Michael Penix at the helm. I know their defense is kind of maybe in that second year, but where it counts in their offense and stuff, there's a lot of learning and growing pains to come. And that home field advantage is going to be a massive factor. My number 2 key to success is our running game. I think this time around, JJ McCarthy settles in a little bit quicker. I think that KOC's game plan is going to evolve week to week, and I'm excited to see what he has in store. And after seeing what Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason were able to do last week, I think we're going to see a lot more leaning into that early, even if it leads to some stalled drives. just to get those guys going. And that's going to be a big factor because the more we lean on that running game and the bigger lead we can capitalize on these short fields when they give up these like punts after they've gone 3rd and 28 or some bullshit because they got false starts because they can't hear anything in US Bank, right? When we get these short fields, we capitalize with some gashing runs from these boys, and we come away with a bunch of field goals and at least a touchdown going into the half, putting them severely behind. So I think this running game is going to be a massive factor to the success of the Minnesota Vikings at home. My third key to success, again, is going to be a returning factor, because until Christian Darrisaw is back to 100% and looking like a superhero again, we need our offensive line coaches and the game plan and the work that these young men or these men do in preparation to give JJ McCarthy as much time as possible is going to be a massive factor. I know it's been said, it's going to be said a lot this year. We have 3 new starters on the interior line, but once our stalwarts, Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw, are solidified and playing at 100% by like week 3, week 2, week 3, week 4, somewhere like that, when we're literally banging on all cylinders on that, the progress is going to start to begin. It's going to be a lot more noticeable. And it gives me confidence that we will have the success in this O-line because of what we saw last year when Christian Darrisaw went down. There are a lot of teams that don't have the roster, the GM staff, the coaching that we do, that would have fell apart and ended up with 9 wins or something at the end of that, after something like that happening. Despite being leaky at times, despite having guys like Ingram on the interior line falling apart at times, they were able to stay extremely well coached. They were able to give the time to Sam Darnold when we needed it the most. And even when they broke down, it was just enough time for Sam to get the ball out or to feel that pressure and roll out and use his legs. Thank goodness JJ McCarthy is quick and elusive and he can run the ball, because during this time, as the offensive lines solidifies, as he gains more confidence, those legs are going to be huge, a huge advantage for him. And I have no doubt that he's going to succeed. And that's why my third key to success out of the 3 that we're going to talk about today is the O-line and their ability to continue to adapt like we did all offseason and adapt during this awkward start to the season while Darrisaw gets back into shape and fully recovered, and during these crucial early games when these interior linemen are starting to solidify themselves and build that rapport and that experience in real life games, not preseason games, not training camp stuff, not joint practice stuff, because it's not the same. It's not the same work and development that happens in comparison to in-game reps like these interior linemen need to get. So I think that we have a great coaching staff that's going to put the work in this week and get our guys prepared, and they will succeed and give JJ all the time in the world. There you have it. Those are my 3 keys to success. The massive key to success. That's what I'm saying. Success. This is why I'm saying I'm stepping back a little bit. It's going to be that home field advantage. It's gonna create a lot of unforced errors, turnovers, penalties, where we're gonna capitalize. I'm gonna start looking like the team we were at the beginning of the season last year, where we started hot, where we came up with interceptions, where we disrupted a lot of teams early. and capitalized and held on for some some crazy wins last year. So second key to success is going to be, wait, what did I say the second key to success again is? I am on the fly kind of going. I said the second thing, oh yeah, the running backs. Duh. Brain fart purple. Come on. Come on. Let's go, Supreme. Anyways, again, yeah, the second key to success is going to be the effect that our running backs Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason do. I think they're going to be. I think there's going to be more confidence going in this game. I trust in the game plan that we have drawn up, and I think we're unleashing the dogs a little bit earlier this week at home with all the confidence in the world with that atmosphere. It's going to just add to that. So I'm excited to see what that running game does. And last but not least, that O line, because that O line is going to be giving the time that JJ needs to make his read and worst case scenario, scramble out of there and pick up some yards, any yards he can with his feet and live to play another down. And hopefully we're able to stack more successful drives and we're able to stay ahead and use that running game and keep this game out of reach where all the Falcons have to do is throw the ball. But again, I have no clue because KOC is a madman. He's playing 4D chess out there. I was not expecting the game plan. I was expecting a lot more of what we saw last year and worrying what we're going to do in the second half. And they flipped it on the script and they came up with the rope and dope in week one. And we ended up blowing that Bears team out of the water. Mm, 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 mm. Guys, that has been the Falcons versus Vikings breakdown, my thoughts, my intuitions, as well as my three keys to success. I hope you guys are having a great evening. I don't know if we're going to get another live out today. But maybe I might. I think I might just work on the videos that I've worked on and recorded earlier today. I got a fire voiceover that I got recorded that I need to freaking continue to edit. I got a bunch of clips and stuff to work, and so maybe I'll work on that while I chill with Zoe and JD and their podcast. So thank you so much to everybody that joined me tonight. Skull Vikings, let's do it at home. I can't wait to see you guys there. I hope you guys are at Skull Fest. And like we always knew, our time is now, guys. We'll see you guys on the next live. Take care.